Good morning and welcome everyone to a replay cast of NGS Season 12. My name is Isaacs and tonight this morning actually, I'm gonna bring you a match up against two teams that went the distance last night. Surprisingly, we did get the series to go underway. There was a lot of hiccups with the servers last night. Stuff went crazy, but eventually it all got figured out. I hope nobody got the unfortunate side effect of playing on a server halfway across the world in this series. But we're going to bring this match anyway between Cats on My Keyboard and Roll1Esports, two Division C West teams. I've got the maps picked out already. They come pre-packaged in a nice little zip folder showing that there may be a three-game series, there may not. I have no idea how these two teams ended up playing this one out, but the first one we're going to go to is Infernal Shrine. So let me get you to the map. So the unfortunate thing is I don't know what maps were banned by who and who picked what, but I know we're going to Infernal Shrines. So we'll at least, we won't get to see the draft phase work its way out, but we'll get to go to Infernal Shrines and see these two teams duke it out on Infernal Shrines, which is kind of one of the classic Heroes maps. So it's going to be kind of fun getting to see these two teams. I feel like every series has to have at least one an Infernal Shrines map, and no better way than just start the series off with that. So since it is a replay cast, I will have the pause function. We'll do things a little different. So I'll get these teams introduced, then I'll talk a little bit about the draft, and then we'll get the series underway. So let me get you guys into game where I've already got the first map underway, get this thing on pause, and get these teams coming in. On the left side, we've got the blue team. It's going to be Cats on My Keyboard. We got Koala on the Diva. PJ Red on the Anubrak Ghost is going to be sitting there on that Vala. Najum is, I hope I said that right, Najum on the Asmodan, and Apple on the Brightwing. Meanwhile, on the red side, we got Roll1Esports. We got Zad, on Sonya. We got Velvet on the Decker Kane, Poe on the Kalatos, Rock Your W on the Stitches, and Big Beard on that Junkrat. All right, let me get this thing paused. So looking at these two teams real quick, the way the draft came out. I mean, Sonya, first things first, Sonya, this is her favorite map. This is her bread and butter map, or at least one of her favorite maps. Has the ability to split push really, really easily on this map. Also has the ability to just pretty much solo the objective if your team could force pressure elsewhere. Can pick it up really, really fast. Hails a Kale Toss and a Junkrat to help. So I anticipate, they can either do this as a 5-man or Stitches can, Stitches doesn't get as much value around the objective because of all the minions being in the way. So, we're going to look to Kale Toss and Junkrat to do a lot of poking and clearing. If they're behind, if they're ahead, they really can just get on the point and force Cats on My Keyboard to come to them. Meanwhile, we look at Cats on My Keyboard, they've got this Vala as one of their assassins, fallen off the meta just a slight bit, but she still can pump out a respectable amount of damage. Going to be able to poke safely from range if she goes that Q build as well. And then Asmodan. So, Asmodan on a map like Infernal Shrines, it can be a very strong pick, but it's got to scale there. So it's got to get there. It's going to be weaker in the early game, which is what Roll1Esports has. They have a very, very strong early game. But when Asmodan starts getting built up and gets going, he will be able to put not only a lot of macro pressure, but have a lot of clearing pressure on the shrines. Looking at this, this comp that they have, I think he's going to go for more of a team fighting Asmodan. Go for the more extra damage with the Tide of Sin rather than going the Demonic Invasion at 10. Going to look to stay with this team for the most part because you want Vala, with the Anubarak being this isolated pick target, somebody with just a lot of lockdown CC, it's going to give Asmo a chance to really easily hit one of those Qs. And then Vala to finish up that damage. Diva, again, another really strong champion on these point controls, being able to put down her mech. So, yeah, looking at these two teams, I mean, both have their strengths, both have their weaknesses. The macro game, I'm going to put a little bit of favor, at least now, based on the builds to Cats on My Keyboard. They have the global presence with Brightwing. They have the Asmodan for fast push, and Diva, I think, does a little bit better in that Sonya matchup if she plays it well, just because Diva has that mech and can get herself back in. Sonya does have the sustain, so when she gets further into her build path, she will start to overtake Diva just a little bit. It's kind of going to be this like skill matchup there. But if Cats on My Keyboard could put the macro pressure down, have Kael'thas and Junkrat not be able to get a lot of their, damage down onto an isolated target, I think they'll be able to build this out. So let's see. But if the game goes to just straight up team fighting, I definitely have to give it to Roll1Esports. I think their comp just excels a lot better at the straight up team fighting, especially in the early game. So let's get this series underway. Game 1. Gonna go to this midfield. Just wish we were on the Singapore servers by Poe. All right, so other people were getting the jokes as well. Yeah, we were playing like halfway across the world last night. It was rather interesting. But these two teams, looking for scrapping. It is Azmodan based off the build path going with that Gluttony. He is going to look for being that team fighting Azmodan. D.Va actually getting hooked in here, getting a lot of damage. Brightwing not going to be able to get the phase shift off. So D.Va going to be putting a baby D.Va already, which actually is a big win because Sonya will have a very, very good time going against baby D.Va in the offlane to start this up. Going to be able to zone her off as long as she keeps her distance and respect out of the D.Va shots. She will be able to get some early pressure going. And Kael'thas already sitting on 3 globes. So they got the steal of the opposing team's globe. Ooh, Anubrak getting hooked in here. Big hook by Stitches, already been scouted out. Red's gonna have to run away. Has the Brightwing phase shifting in. Gonna get away safely. But Vala and Azmodan going both for stacking. Vala gonna go for that W build, so looking for a little bit more team fight, not necessarily the single target burst that we were anticipating. But going to be able to put out a lot more damage in these sustained fights. And Azmodan's looking for the sustained fights as well. So this is definitely going to put him, again, on the back pedal a little bit more in the early game. But they will get themselves stacked up, hopefully, if the game goes long enough. Meanwhile, look at Kael'thas. 6 globes already. He's loving life. 7 globes. 7 globes in a minute and 30 seconds. He's going to get that quest done lickety-split. But we do see the double soak going on from the offlaners here. Gonna go ahead and get theirs, but we do have a potential first contested objective. Stitch is just gonna be that wall that Stitches is. Gets the hook onto Vala. Phasia coming in, Junkrat with the displacement. Vala and Brightwing now both in a bit of trouble here. Vala trying to get away, has the bleed from the living bomb, and will get herself with like 50 HP. So no kills yet, but a pretty good hooks coming in from Stitches. Got one on Anubrak, got one on the Vala so far. Getting a lot of value off the Stitches Q. Keeps that up, his team's gonna definitely be happy about the progress that they're gonna be making in this early game. Having about a little bit of an experience lead. Brightwing taking quite a bit of damage. Nice gravity labs by Kael'thas. It does connect, but nobody's there to follow up. And this first objective coming online, gonna be probably the most team fighty position of these 3. Being right in the mid lane, Sonya can get there if she needs to. She's not really gonna try and double soak during this first objective. If it was top, she could double soak between bot and mid. If it was bot, she could double soak between top and mid. But since it's mid, she's not gonna have that double soak opportunity, meaning we may get our first 5v5 skirmish around this objective. But we gotta give the nod to these early 5v5 fights. Azmodan only on 66 stacks, doesn't have his level 7 yet to get himself stacking up even faster. Vala on 8 stacks, and 10 minions already picked up by Roll1Esports. They were ahead on the camps, which is benefit. D.Va not even coming to this first objective. Gonna go get the bottom, so it looks like it's gonna be a surrender of the first objective. Cats on my keyboard recognizing they don't have the strongest early game team fighting potential, so smart on them. Want to get value elsewhere, get a little bit of experience lead, but Nubrak did check the bush, got rooted there. Gonna get crowd control to all sorts of different colors of the rainbow. Actually gets boot back into the entire team. D.Va is gonna get away. Kael'thas sitting very low. D.Va does pick up the kill, so it's a pretty big pickup there. Cats on my keyboard. I didn't think they were gonna contest. They do. I don't think they win this. There's only 4 left, but they got the kill, which means that there's less pushing power. Actually, they're putting down a surprising amount of damage too. Sonya getting fairly low. The objective was finally finished by Roll1. Comfortably so. Ooh, Brightwing gets rooted out here. Sorry, that is Vala. And Vala does go down. Anubrak was trying to pick the fight with Sonya. Didn't get it, so unfortunately, that's a lot of damage that was just lost to help clear out this objective. D.Va, ooh, if she gets out of the mech, she might get jumped off by the Punisher. Nah, Cena not giving that extra help. Not going to jump. Now he does. Gets a two-man stun, though. Diva's in a little bit of a rough position, and look at that. 2 kills going right over. Don't want to stand next to your tank when your tank's trying to jump everyone over. So Roll1Esports having a very successful first Punisher phase. Gets a big chunk of this mid fort. And Sonya getting value by going ahead and getting camps, getting soak, getting something else. Doesn't need to be with the team for this first one. Hook doesn't land onto the Vala. She's got her dancing shoes on, sidestepped it, but this first fort gonna go over to Roll1Esports, and they're gonna be able to walk themselves comfortably out. So they're gonna go ahead and just continue the soak game. So it looked really, it looked really good for Cats on my keyboard for a second there. Unfortunately, the pick onto the Vala, Stitches landing those dirty hooks, just made it a little bit difficult to clear that Punisher out as fast as they want. So the Punisher getting a little bit more value, ultimately gets the first fort. So that's if you get your first Punisher to get the first fort, you're doing things right. You're doing really well there. So good for Roll1Esports to even though they lost Kale Toss, to find a way to maximize the value and get themselves back in. But we have a camp invade on the hunt here. Stitch is walking all the way and has the 10, so the 10s are available. A Nubrak goes down, a 2-man gravity lapse, leave sleep, and everybody starts to melt. That is 2 kills going over to Roll1Esports. Brightwing and Vala are in very dangerous position. Big rotation down by Sonya, getting the leap onto the back line. Oh, the hook comes through! Wow. Look at that hook by Stitches. Vala using the strafe, just kind of a zoning strafe, trying to get everybody out. Clear off some of these minions and keep her fort alive. And the siege continues here in the bot lane. But Roll1Esports, I mean, look at that. Their first level 10 showing. Very smooth, very coordinated. Everybody timing their crowd control beautifully. Stitch is running in with the Putrid Bile, the Leap, and then the Deckard Sleep, the Riptire, Pyroblast. All 10s from Roll1Esports. Meanwhile, the 10s from the side of Cats on my keyboard. We got the Micro Missiles, the Titus In, Blink, Heal, Strafe, and Cocoon coming in. So with the Cocoon, the Nubrak always has that wild card. With the Cocoon, can really swing fights in his team's favor if he's able to get the right people under. Now, the amount of crowd control by Roll1Esports, especially by their backline and Deckard Cain, is going to make it a little more difficult for Nubrak to get in there and get the correct target underneath. Depending upon how heavily they engage and how well the side of Cats on my keyboards could disengage, you could always throw Stitches under and re-engage onto the backline. Kale Toss has 25 globes, so he will be able to peel pretty well for himself. The call, with Deckard being down, you don't get as much value putting the healer under. You'll get rid of the CC, but the healing potions will already be on the ground. So it may just be finding one of these assassins and putting them under, or putting Stitches under and peeling back onto Sonya when Sonya leaps in. We'll see how they play it. There's a lot of different ways a Nubrak can approach this. Since they don't have the insane burst damage yet, and Asmodan's still waiting to get that to that 200 stacks, almost there. I don't think diving the back line, putting somebody in the front line down, diving the back line will be the most successful thing. It may just be a peel back. But I like what Cats on my keyboard is doing here. Getting value. They had their 13s down. They want to go get some of this value elsewhere on the map. Maybe look to trade. Now, they ultimately will fall behind in the trade game because the Punisher is just naturally going to push top lane faster. But they will be able to at least get a fort for a fort and then go clear the Punisher, which, in all fairness, is what they're looking for. Diva's using the zone. Oh, Pyroblast coming in. Diva, get in your mech! Oh, no, she didn't get in her mech. She did get the kill on Kale Toss, so it is a kill for a kill. But this is ultimately what they wanted to do. Like, they may even actually come out ahead, because look at this fort. Nobody's there to get it. They get the fort. They're killing the Punisher. It's going to be close. These two got it back. Nubrak's trying to get himself in there, as is Vala. They're going in, looking for the fight. They get the Decker. The Polymorph comes in. Stitches land the hook. The Cocoon goes down. This is exactly what I wanted to see out of Cats on my Keyboard. Gonna put Deckard underneath, and Nubrak trying to get in with those spines. Gets the Deckard kill. And that is picturesque of a very good trade. Now, they may end up losing bot here. D.Va wasn't able to get down clear on this soak, but if they can get top, again, it's a trade for trade, but, you know, being down 12 is not going to get the objective, looking to get some value somewhere else on the map, and they do. They actually take bot and defend top at the same time. But this also has to get answered as well. Nubrak trying to get in, doesn't land the burrow onto the Kale Toss. D.Va actually dying in the bot lane here. I saw her get forced into baby D.Va form. Cats on my Keyboard trying to get any remaining value on this top objective that they can. They look like they're diving into the opposing team. Stitch is going to be the hard target to burn. Meanwhile, Junkrat going to continue to get value here in the bot lane. So now the side of Roll1Esports, they're just trying to delay, not let everybody back. Let Junkrat continue to get the value that he's been getting in the bot lane so far. But Cats on my Keyboard, I like the way they played this whole objective phase. You know, finding the value somewhere else that they can. Weenus coming in with the 69 bits. Hey, thanks, Weenus. Getting that bottom fort, defending the top fort. Ooh, Brightwing getting hooked out, getting crowd control. Sorry, I was scratching my back. Had to hand off the camera for a second. I was like, I see it. I got to get there. Ends up dying. So 8-3 so far in kills for Roll1Esports. They have their 16s. They're getting a nice siege. The keeps are starting to fall. Ooh, D.Va getting pulled all the way in. Doesn't have the mech to explode. Gets rooted there. The leap cements are down in the ground. And that's going to be another kill for Roll1 as they continue to push in. Oh, big hook from Stitches. That is another kill. That was a nat 20 hook right there. That was not a Roll1. Holy cow. Stitches. You always love when whoever's playing Stitches is having a good game, and they are just on point with the hooks. It seems like the other team's just like, I mean, we just can't do anything right. Even if we do everything right, Stitches still gets a hook. It's absolutely insane. Like, no matter where we're positioned, Stitches somehow, some way is getting this hook to land. I mean, when you're on the team with the Stitches, you're like, man, you're making this game really, really fun for us. But I tell you what, for as many times as it goes this way, there are so many times it goes the other way, when Stitches just can't land anything. And it becomes the most frustrating thing in the world as a Stitches player when you're just not able to land them. Not having that problem here, though. Stitches giving his team a lot of value, but 16s are online for Cats on my Keyboard, so I love to see them come down and contest this objective. Asmodan still not done with the stacks, not at that magical number 400, but sitting at 292, so is going to put down, has the 16 to get that extra damage. We do see Roll1 backing their way off. They have the 25. They want to just kind of poke this thing down from range and see if they can get the remaining. Not really force themselves. And Nubrak getting hooked in here. Stitches landing another one. Kona getting the leap, but Brightwing's in with the phase shift. This is where I want to see the peel onto the backline with the Sonya. Vala getting not much. Brightwing there to give the assist, make sure that the extra spell damage was available. Cats on my Keyboard looking at Asman and getting a little bit more value. Getting some of these hits to land on the backline. So the damage is coming in, but the objective is ultimately picked up. Big hook onto the Vala through like 3 different people. Vala able to barely get herself away. Sonya's starting to spin her way. And Nubrak trying to get away. The living bomb is continuing to spread. We see so many people getting so low. D.Va's the first to fall. Brightwing gets the blink heal. Stitches doesn't connect that one. He is mortal after all. And everybody pushing in this bot lane for Roll1Esports. Junkrat on the way. Sonya actually going to go mid, now rotating down. And this Punisher is a big Punisher. Warner Punisher, if it gets the crowd control into one target, it could put a lot of single target damage down with those fireballs. But they all miss onto the Brightwing. Punisher getting pulled back, keeps getting destroyed. Punisher will go down, and Roll1Esports going to walk themselves out. I really, really like I really like the way Cats on my keyboard did play that. The damage was a little split. Vala seemed to get into the backline just a little, you know, vaulting, tried to get into the backline a little too much, where I was like, man, maybe if we turned and peeled on the Sonya, it would have been a little bit. We would have maybe at least gotten the Sonya once she leaped in, because they got the initial disengage they were looking for. So I was like, all right, this is a fight that favors Roll1 with the Asmodan. But here's the thing, Asmodan getting himself finished on the stacks here now. Now we've got a lot of pain coming out. They've lost 2 keeps, so that's the game with Asmodan, getting him to that magic number 400. Once he gets there, you better watch out, because he's going to suddenly start putting down a lot of damage in these team fights. But what did it cost to get there? And unfortunately, 2 keeps. If it had just been 1 keep, I think they may have been in a really, really good shot to turn this around. I'm still not counting them out. I think they have the potential if they get the right fights. Infernal Shrines can be stalled out for a long, long time. So we'll see what this Asmodan can do now that he's fully stacked. But that Titus Sin, especially when he gets to level 20, he's going to be putting down a world of hurt if people are standing anywhere in his queue. But they got to get there. With all these minions collapsing in their base, that means natural experience is going to be passively pushing into their base. They will have safety to soak from. Look at that. He does a quarter of Sonya's health with 1 Q, and I wasn't even with Titus. No, it was with the Titus. He did throw that out. So, but I mean, that's a quarter of Sonya. It's going to do a lot more. I'm curious if Decker, no, he didn't go with the, oh yes, he did. At level 20, he went the refilling the bottomless flasks. I like that against the Asmodan, because it allows your team to just back up and continually soak up. D.Va getting hooked in here, doesn't have the bomb available. She does have it now, but she isn't able to get it out. Sonya is in, gets the D.Va. D.Va the first to fall. Nubarak puts the cocoon down on the Stitches there. Decker taking a little bit of damage, but Brightwing going to get killed by the Riptire. And that's a fight when you have an Asmodan. Asmodan's like, man, guys, you got to give me a few more seconds to get a couple more Qs out. Having a Stitches on the other team, though, they can pick the fights when they want. Look at Asmo's just continually draining the resources by putting these Qs down. But Sonya not pushing in. She's getting the minion wave to collapse. We'll see if Cats on my keyboard can find a way to delay. The Vala is alive. The Asmodan is alive. And Nubrak is here as well. Doesn't have the 20s for the rewind, but this core is just shredding. 63. Junkrat Sonya doing a lot of damage. Kel'Thas putting his living bomb on it to boot, and this is going to be game 1. Going on over to Roll1Esports. Good games by both teams. Get that updated there. Oh, you know what? I always forget. I never get the stats, but I can check them out here. I don't know why. I can never view the stats. When we're dealing with these replay casts, but we can look at them here. D.Va able to put out 109 siege damage, but Sonya 145. And looking at the soak difference, Sonya 21k to D.Va's 14k. So that is a big, big story coming in. Look at the difference in the just a passive soak. Now in the first 10 levels, D.Va actually did a very good job, even though she got behind losing her mech. She did a very good job soaking. Sonya wasn't able to get as much value as she was looking, but after Roll1Esports won that first Immortal fight, you saw Sonya then just commit to the, I want to soak and get camps instead of push with the team, which I like that call, and you can see the dividends that it paid with Sonya just almost 8k experience more soaked by just running around the map and taking everything. Using the Stitches and Kel'Thas to just lock down any targets that Stitches hooked, and Stitches did land a lot. 67k coming out of Asmodan. I'm sure that damage, you know, I wasn't tracking it in real time, but I'm sure at least a quarter of it came up in those last 2 fights, if not more than a quarter of it. Because Asmodan finally got to those 400, and that is going to start causing the world pain. Unfortunately, his team just wasn't able to give him the fight. Like we said in that last fight, he wants the fight to go long to just continue to get as many Qs out as he can. But with Stitches on the other team, he's going to make sure that that doesn't happen. Throw it over to the talents real quick, looking at some of these things. So Sonya went with that slam build, does a lot better against the Diva. Since the Diva doesn't have any hard crowd control, doesn't have to go the Whirlwind build as much, will still be able to sustain quite a bit. Is also going to be able to get Diva out of her mech much faster with these first 3 talents. Stitch is going pretty standard. Hook with auto attack. Deckard going with the field study. They're getting the rejuvenating potion. All right. At 4, giving his team a little bit of mana. And that heal over time. Which actually, I like it. Into the composition that Cats on My Keyboard. You know, if Cats on My Keyboard have a lot, more like just single target, like can do a lot of punishment in the early game, I definitely don't think Deckard would have gone rejuvenating potion. But the fact that they didn't have that big scary damage in the early game, he could afford to keep his team a little bit more sustained over time and give him an extra mana to stay in these fights longer if need be. So I kind of actually really like that pickup at 4. Vala getting up to 60 stacks, going to the Gloom W build. Pretty standard stuff coming out. Asmodee going for the team fight. Taking the Sidna's Kiss at 13. But yeah, look at that. 14-3 in kills. Didn't feel, a lot of those kills were just isolated 1-2 picks. The 3 kills, Roll1Esports getting a lot in that top lane. That second, I think it was a second Punisher that they gave up and got that big value. I really like that play out of out of Cats on My Keyboard. I think they need to look to that for a lot of their success and utilize that kind of mentality moving forward here in game number 2 and 3. But let me throw it back over to the maps and get our second map underway. It's going to be Towers of Doom is going to be map number 2. Again, I don't know who picked it, but it's going to be Towers of Doom. I'll just give it to Cats on My Keyboard again. Let me get that thing. The good news with replay casts is you get all this. You don't have all this downtime. This is Towers of Doom. This is Towers of Doom. Yes, it is. All right. The Stitches is going to make a second appearance, but it's going to be stolen away this time.
Prepare yourself.
I like it. We're going to see Stitches for a second game. Stitches, Junkrat, Tychus, Deckard stolen away too. Running the 3 champions stolen away by Cats on My Keyboard. They want to run that composition. Didn't get the Sonya, didn't get the Kale Toss. Those both went back over to Roll1Esports here. But Stitches, Junkrat, Deckard, Tychus, Diva. That's a lot more single target damage. Going to be able to play around the hooks quite a bit. Going to be able to land the crowd control too. So they really have good pick and lockdown target. Stitches hooking them in, Deckard putting down the crowd control, Tychus and Junkrat going to be able to shred through the targets pretty quickly. And there's a lot of targets to pick from too. Not high mobility targets. If you hook Lunara post 10 or hook Sonya, going to be a little, or a Nubrak, it's going to be, a little bit difficult. They could just get themselves out unless you're really on top of that crowd control. Deckard getting it channeled before the Stitches hook really lands. But here's the fun thing. You got an Uther on the other side. So even if that hook lands, if Uther's watching his positioning really well, he will be able to put that D shield down and pretty much negate that kind of a composition. And then the counter engage is going to be on, and Nubrak will burrow in, Sonya will leap in, Lunara will leaping strike in, and Kael'Thas running Pyroblast in last game. I fully anticipated it to be another Pyroblast game this game. But Roll1Esports, again, Sonya going to go up against Diva, that matchup again. It's going to be, again, another double soak between top and mid. But I do like the Lunara pickup on Towers of Doom, giving the team that vision advantage in that bot lane and in between those bot camps. So, early game, I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was last game, for sure. Cats on My Keyboard have a composition that can fight a lot more in the early game, don't have to scale themselves up. So we'll see if they can run that here in the second game. But let's get these teams introduced. On the blue side, we got Apple on the Decker K and Najum on that Tychus. PJ Red on the Stitches Ghost sitting on the Junkrat. And Koala on the Diva. Zad saying that's a dang pretty draft y'all have. Noticing that a lot of the champions got taken away. Meanwhile, on the red side, we got Roll1Esports. We got Big Beard on Lunara, Velvet on the Uther, Zad on the Sonya, Poe on the Kael'thas, and Rock Your W on the Anub'arak. A lot of champions taken by both teams. Like stolen away here. I mean, six of the same? 7 of the same. 7 of the same champions used in this game. They're just on other teams now. Kind of doing a flip-flop back and forth from these two teams. And we'll see now if the Stitches hooks start to favor the other side. PJ Red can get some cues. One thing I want to definitely watch is see how fast Kael'thas gets this quest completed this game too. I mean, he got it completed quickly last time. Gets 2 already, so got both of the they got hit theirs and the opposing team's globes. I think he ended with like 40 something last game. He was stacked on those. Oh, Junkrat getting the displacement onto Poe. But Najum not able to follow up because of his low health. Deckard will be able to top him off, throw down with some flasks. But he's like, hey, make sure I get the flasks, please. Camp being picked up by the side of Cats on my keyboard. Roll1Esports haven't started their camp yet, which means Cats on my keyboard can set up for a potential invade. I think they've got the comp to do it too. Like if they can get the hook, they got a lot of crowd. So Diva's in the rotation, so this could be a very big play coming in from Cats on my keyboard. Sonya nowhere near getting the top objective. The hook goes down, and Velvet the first to fall. Uther goes down, and this is going to be a very successful camp steal by the side of Cats on my keyboard. Love it. Absolutely. When you get that advantage and recognize you have the opportunity on the other team, get those pumpkins going in your favor and push out this bot lane. Diva gonna go back? No, Diva's still down here. They're looking for the Lunara. Got the displacement. Lunara is in the wrong neighborhood. Gonna get chased down. The hook lands. Stitches rack one up for him. That is a nice kill going over. 2 Cats on my keyboard. Very strong early game. They have to get Diva back to get the soak so they don't fall behind in the soak. But man, oh man. Oh, Junkrat getting thrown up by the gravity lapse there. But Kael'thas gets rooted. How did that not hit? And that hit him like right in the face. How did that not hit? Oh my gosh, PJ Red. It looked like it hit. I mean, I got it. Thankfully, we got a VOD of this. It looked like that hit Kael'thas. But Kael'thas, instead, you heard the clang, the disappointing clang of hitting the wall somehow. I don't know how, because it looked like it hit Kael'thas right in the face, and that is going to be unfortunate. But Uther getting hooked in here. Red shaking it off, gets another hook onto Velvet. And the early game pressure coming out of Cats on my keyboard is very, very good. Here comes this first Junkrat. Oh, Junkrat just got in a little bit of a rough position, stuck in between an Anub'arak and an Uther. That is not a place you want to be. That is a lot of crowd control going into your face. And so that is going to be 2-1 on the core shots in favor of Roll1Esports. And they do actually have a half-level experience lead. Stitches on solo clear duty. Tychus trying to rotate up, maybe get a gank on this Sonya. Thinks better of it. Stitch is going to be able to clear this out. Not quickly, but safely. Stitch is one of those champions that could definitely clear from a safe distance and not worry too much about getting, you know, burst down. Has a lot of sustain built into his kit. But bot lane has been pretty much evened up. I believe it's the wall on both sides is down. Nobody's starting shots, but here we go. Cats on my keyboard looking for another invade again. Gonna group up in the bush. Now this is okay, but you have to be careful with the Kael'thas. Because Kael'thas loves people all huddled together. Gonna think better of it, back themselves out. Junkrat gonna start the camp up. They gotta get it on another timing when Diva is rotating down. Sonya is down here. So they gotta wait for Sonya to either rotate her away. Diva is actually committing to this, so Sonya is again gonna get the soak. And the offlane, Diva's gonna miss it. So they got to get this objective, but now Sonya can rotate herself into the fight. Not coming in, now she's on her way. And Nubrak getting rooted out. The camp is not finished yet. This is a lot of damage going down onto Ghost. Diva puts down the bomb. Ghost running in the back, and Nubrak makes sure he goes down, takes a big shot for it. Will be the next to fall, but Kael'Thas getting a lot of value of everybody being grouped up. Stitch is super low, gonna fall next. Tychus the third to fall, and that is a 3-to-1 pickup. And, oh no, they didn't get the camp though. So 3-to-1 pickup, but camp did go over to Cats on my keyboard. But another big pickup right around when these altar phases are coming online. Maybe the best case scenario is Decker does get this off. Diva trying to zone it. Kael'Thas trying to get down there, but I think he's going to get the channel. He does. And so it is 1-for-1. That is best case scenario for Cats on my keyboard, considering they were down 4-2. So well done by Cats on my keyboard there. Diva recognizing that Lunara realistically the only one in position to interrupt, went out and tried to zone her off. And let's see if Stitches can get back with these hooks. They're falling behind a little bit in experience, about a level down now. The 10 race is there, so Stitches is looking for a pick. Now would be the time to find it. But 10's gonna come online here, so they're not, ooh, maybe Tychus is found. 10's now coming online, so they really now just don't want a team fight. Can still try and get a pick, but don't want a team fight. Nubrak going with the Cocoon. Sonya with the leap. Pyroblast by the Kael'Thas again. Leaping Strike by the Lunara. And it's going to be the D-Shield by the Uther as expected. And now here they engage in. And Nubrak burrowing all the way and catches the Tychus. He goes up in the gravity laps. He gets the damage going down. Pyroblast for good measure. You're at 20 health. I'm going to Pyroblast your face anyway. And that is going to be a pickup by Roll1Esports. I think we call that overkill. But kill is still in the name. And that is going to allow them to push in the bot lane. And Roll1Esports going to go get a camp. Like it. Good call. Sonya actually getting the kill up in the top lane. Got her into Baby Diva form and was able to finish it off. So going the same build as last game, and that build can put a lot of hurt down onto Diva. It's the right build to go against her. And Sonya now, I mean, look at the value she's... So having the freedom to double soak when Diva comes in, not losing much. They did lose the first camp, which was a good start by Cats on my keyboard, but the second one and the, Diva coming down, ooh, the Gorge go down on a Nubrak. Not necessarily the one maybe able to burrow himself away. There it is. The D-Shield thrown out as well, just in case a Nubrak did get rooted there. And Diva going to try and win this matchup against Sonya, but Sonya not having anything of it. Diva's on the prowl and backs herself up. But yeah, the first objective, Cats on my keyboard, they played it well, but then Diva came down with a 5-man. And they didn't get as much value as I'd like in the early game with that 5-man. So Sonya was allowed to soak herself back up. Stitches actually goes under in the Cocoon. Big dive in. Junkrat gets the displacement for the disengage. Sleep goes down onto Lunara. Diva trying to get to the backline. And now going to back herself up. Has the bomb available. Is going to use it. Living bomb gets thrown down onto Diva as well. She's going to get immediately back in her mech. And live to fight another day. So 24-32 in tower shots so far. Not terrible. It's Towers of Doom. Everybody can come back. This is the problem up in the top lane. Got to find a way to get that one back. Diva on her way back up, seeing if she can get it. Sonya going to go back to that double soak game. And that's probably the story of this game right now. I mean, yes, there's 3 kills, but the experience, yes, Sonya at 13,000 experience, Diva at 9,000. That's really the main difference. Being down 3 kills, it's a little bit of a difference, but, it's not the end of the world. But soak, 4K soak, that's a lot of soak. Got to find a way to close that gap up. And here's your chance. We're going to have another 5-on-5 fight. If they could delay this, Junkrat throwing the Riptire out, there you go. That's where you want it. Holding onto it, and it gets killed. Didn't pull it out on the kill toss. Looking for that 3 or 4-man Riptire. Going to continue to go in, but Tychus actually getting crowd controlled out. Sonya getting the leap over. Pyroblast coming in, and that will be another very dead Tychus. A 3-man sleep. That's a huge sleep by Deckard before he went under into the cocoon. Isn't able to get out, now is, but Uther is there with the Hammer of Justice. Make sure that that thing connects. D.Va, can she finish this off before the channel goes off? Yes, she does. So that is going to be 8 shots in favor of Roll1Esports instead of 10. And now Cat's on my keyboard. They're looking to just get themselves back as 5 and try and find another good rotation from D.Va. That's really what they're looking for here, is go back to the double soak game. Oh, a big hook onto the Uther. But get D.Va back in that double soak game, and then when she's in that mid lane, find a rotation down to the bot lane that benefits the team. And Nubrak doing a long burrow in. Gets hooked back in. Doesn't have the burrow available so they can turn on him, but looking like Lunara is going to be the focus. Riptire gonna clear the minions. But back in the top lane, Sonya continuing this double soak game. Cat's on my keyboard. They're trying to force, since they have the 5, gonna go for another camp steal. Gotta find the value, gotta find something. Stitch is looking for a hook, because Sonya's just gonna continue to get this and put the pressure back to the side of Roll1Esports. D.Va coming down there looking for a fight. Stitch just throws out the hook, barely misses Kael'thas, gets the minion instead. And big living bomb spread coming in here. Look at the damage. Pyroblast actually thrown out. Junkrat may not live through this. Oh, he picks up the double potions. Well done. Stitch is getting very low. Has the Nubrak to sleep. Goes down as well. But this is a big... Oh, D.Va bomb. Not going to get Lunara. And so that is going to be Deckard next to fall. Sonya now has rotated herself in. Gets on the back line. Slam down onto the Junkrat. Tychus sitting very low. In a bad spot. Uther just going to throw down the Hammer of Justice. That is going to be 4 kills to 1. Maybe a 5th. And this is a triple altar. I mean, they capture this bottom before they get any of these channels. They win the game right here. They just need to get this bottom fort. They actually can get 2 channels with the 5. So as long as they get this bottom fort before they capture their 3rd on their own. Because this will be 15. They need 16, so they need 1 more fort. But Stitch is going to try and interrupt in this top lane. Gonna delay. So it doesn't look like it's going to be the end here. Cat's on my keyboard, gonna delay this one out. And like we said, it's Towers of Doom. Delaying out can happen. If you can delay out long enough, the core doesn't fall except from the objective. So sometimes you get down to 1 measly core shot left and then turn it around. The hook goes in. This is a good start. Gets the Gorge. Tychus did use his minigun, I believe, so the minigun's not available. Uther, now he's asleep. Doesn't have the D-shield. Big Riptire coming in there. Everybody's solo looping strike going out. Tychus ready to start causing some damage here. Lunara right up in front. Big Beard goes down first, but Kael'thas getting some big damage with that flame strike. Sonya down in the bot lane. Here comes the Pyroblast. Can he get a heal from the Deckard? No, and he goes down. The Pyroblast getting the value. And so it is 2 for 1 in kills so far. D.Va did die in the bot lane to Sonya. I believe that's where she died. And Sonya was able to turn bot lane red as well. So Sonya getting the better of this offlane matchup. And we'll see if Cat's on my keyboard. They're up against it, but it's Towers of Doom. It's never over till that last shot hits. Junkrat getting top lane turned back around. 16s are available. Looking for that 5-on-5 fight. Tychus sitting at about half health. Guys, to be careful because Kael'thas has the Pyroblast. D.Va getting down. Doesn't throw out the mech bomb, so Nubrak's going to take advantage of that. Dive all the way in. Tychus getting so low. Everybody survives. Sonya now actually in deep. Gets pulled back in. This is a big pickup. There we go. This is the start. Tychus needs a little bit of topping off here, but if they can keep everybody alive. Stitch is getting low. Will he survive? Deckard, the bro coming in. Now they just got to get in, use these potions. Can they find a way to delay this? Kael'thas is on it. They got to go over here. Not clear the minions. Kael'thas is starting the channel. Junkrat gets himself over, gets the interrupt. He does. Heroic Junkrat. Uther continuing to peel backwards. Diva doesn't get the mech off. I think she was stunned that time. So it's a good stun. Pyroblast going down onto Tychus. He goes down. That's unfortunate. Didn't get the potion. Lunara gonna be able to get herself away. As long as Kael'thas can get himself healthy, they could slow bleed this one out. Nobody back online for another 16 seconds. And Nubrak just gonna move on forward. The Deckard potions are getting zoned as well. And Kael'thas starting the channel yet again. The D-shield goes down just to make sure that the channel goes off. Well done, Uther. And that will be GG, game number 2. Going over to Roll1Esports. Well done. So Roll1Esports getting their 2-0 domination here. And really, I mean, the story of this series to me was the offlane matchup. Sonya getting so much value in that double soak. I definitely love when Cats on My Keyboard rotated Diva down for some of these fights. I think it's some stayed a little too long, and others they just weren't able to get the value they were looking for. Finding the picks, finding the, getting the camp steal, yes, but then trying to get something else of value off of it as well. But yeah, it's just absolutely insane, the soak differential. I mean, can I pull it up real quick? I think I can. No, I can't. Unfortunate. Well, yes, I can. Duh. What am I talking about? I'm just talking about talent. It's over here. Yeah, 23,000 to 16,000. Sonya to Diva. I mean, that's a huge, huge story because that continually builds the experience in your team's favor, getting yourselves the talent tier leads, which ultimately leads to better team fights. Poe putting out 52,000 damage on the Kael'thas as opposed to 37. I didn't see during the game. Tychus didn't go spell armor. I was asking in comms how Tychus kept getting burst by Pyro with his spell armor. Where's Tychus? Yeah, you didn't. Went for the... Yep. So Tychus didn't get spell armor. So he definitely was getting absolutely shreked by the magic damage. But yeah, he was that may have been why we're like, hey, why is Tychus just absolutely melting so fast? My Pyroblast is killing him when he's got like 20 health left. I was channeling it at 1,000, and then all of a sudden he was at 20. But yeah, Tychus definitely didn't go extra spell armor, and nobody on the team this time. They had the Brightwing last game to give the assisted spell armor, which helped, kept Vol alive a couple times. But healing, pretty much even so far. I mean, the longer this game went, I think Deckard's numbers would have started to just channel up with the bottomless flask at 20, and then he went the big potions at 13. Super healing potion at 13. So he was able to get a lot more healing. Also went Ruby. Actually, I would expect it to be a little higher with the Ruby. Maybe the team just wasn't picking up his Rubies. But Stitch's still getting a lot of value. He was getting a lot of good hooks, especially in the early game. He was getting a lot of great hooks. Unfortunately, with the Gorge, he tried to gorging in Nubrak a couple times. Uther going the D shield definitely prevented a lot of that from happening. Saving a couple lives there. Kael'thas not getting as many stacks on the globes, but still getting the magical number 20. I love Beetles. Just can't say enough about Beetles. And it's great. Beetles, when they don't have a mage, is great. You don't need the extra spell armor until Junkrat mostly does damage through a lot of spell armor. Going for the Beetles, just making Stitch's life a little bit more miserable. Throwing more Beetles on the ground. Beta Barb's at 4. I could dig this. It's a little more damagey, less tanky, more damagey. But when you got all these targets that are like, let's just blow one of these people up. I can see the argument made for the damage. Just going, diving in with this 4 and 16 and 7, putting the extra damage down with 4, going with Burning Beetle at 13. Not taking the disabled one because, he's got his own CC, but outside of that, we got the stun, the gravity lapse, the leap, maybe the spear, but it's only for a little bit. Not a lot of slowing potential. I guess Lunar has some slows. But yeah, overall, great series. A lot of fun watching these two teams go at it. Roll1Esports going to move themselves up in the rankings with those 3 points. But cats on my keyboard, I mean, I think they responded well. I think the adaptations they made from game 1 to game 2 were good. And I think they'll just continue to use those moving forward in the season. It's still very, very early in the season. Lots of teams continue to grow as the season goes on. I have no idea if this is a new team or if this is, a team that's been around for a little while, but they definitely showed some pretty good cohesion in some of these fights. So looking forward to more things to come. But thank you everyone for coming in. I was thinking about doing a second one, but I'm gonna go get some food. May come back and do a second cast like at 11, 12 o'clock. But I do for the rest of the day. May just be messing around at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. I will be casting over on the Nexus main series. Got a Storm Division matchup going on there later this evening. So if you're needing something to do on your Friday evening, want to watch some HOTS action, head over there. We got some Storm League coming your way. That'll be at 5 o'clock. Otherwise, thanks Zad, HOTS, and Haas for coming in with the follows. Weenus for the 69 bits. Always a delight to see. And I will catch you guys here next time. Take care, everyone.